it's Brianna, and today I'm going to be doing my foundation routine, and this I just wanted to do because now you guys don't have to sit through all of my foundation applications in my future music videos, my future makeup videos. I just freshly washed my face, and I'm going to be starting out with a few moisturizing products. So first I'm going to be using a serum. This is the Caudalie Paris Vino Perfect Radiance Serum. So I'm just going to be using this, and this actually is supposed to reduce the appearance of dark spots and wrinkles. I mainly am going to use it for my dark spots, obviously. So I'm just going to be putting that all over my face and just massaging that in. Alrighty, so once I am done with that, I'm just gonna let that sink in a little bit. Okay, so once that has gotten a chance to kind of really seep into my skin, I'm gonna be taking the corresponding moisturizer, and this is the Caudalie Paris Vino Source Moisturizing Sorbet. And this is actually supposed to go on after your serum. So I'm just gonna be using a tiny bit of this to moisturize. And I normally do my brows before my foundation, so I'm going to do that, and I'll also be linking my eyebrow routine down in the description below so you can check that out. But I'm going to do my eyebrows, and then I will be right back with you guys. Alright guys, so I just finished doing my eyebrows, and I did carve them out on the bottom. Now I am going to include this next step with my foundation routine because I only do this step if I'm wearing foundation that day. But before we get on to that, I'm just going to be priming all throughout my T-zone area because we do not want any pores showing through. So I'm using my Mary Kay foundation primer with SPF 15. I usually carve out my brows only on the bottom if I know I'm not going to be wearing foundation, but because today I am wearing foundation or showing you my foundation routine, I am going to be using concealer on the top of my eyebrows. So I'm taking my Ulta Full Coverage Concealer. This is waterproof, and this is in the shade Tan Warm. And I'm going to be taking the applicator on this and just pretty much going along my brow. So once I am done with that, I am just going to be blending that out a little bit with my finger, and I'm only going to be blending it on the edges so that it's not that harsh, but we're going to be blending it further once we put on our foundation. So since it is summertime, I find myself getting a little bit darker out in the sun, so I used to only use my L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Makeup in the shade Caramel Beige W7. But now I've recently been mixing it with my Maybelline Fit Me foundation, the matte and poreless one in the shade 335. So I've been mixing those two together, and it's been my perfect shade. So I'm taking my Super Blendable first. I'm going to be putting the lighter shade in the areas that are lighter in my face, which, you know, obviously makes sense. So just like this. So now I'm taking the darker foundation, and I'm going to put this where the darker parts of my face are. So now that I've got my foundation on my face, I like to blend this out. I'm not going to be using my beauty blender. I used to use my Real Techniques blending sponge, which is this one right here. But because I noticed that the brush gives more full coverage, I'm going to be using a brush from now on. So I'm using my Wet n Wild flat top brush. Looks just like this, nothing special. I know I need to clean it. I'll get on that. But I'm pretty much just taking this and buffing the foundation into my face. So first I like to stipple a little bit, and then I like to just buff it in. What I usually do for highlighting is I'll use the same concealer that I mentioned earlier, and that is the Ulta Full Coverage in the shade Tan Warm. And I just take this and go right underneath my eyes. So I usually like to go down the bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead, and a little bit on my chin, not too much. Alrighty, so once I'm done with that, I usually blend that with my Real Techniques. And I am using this dry, so it is not damp or anything, and this also helps to give me nice full coverage. I just like the way that this blends out with the sponge instead of the brush, but if I still want full coverage, I'll use my blender when it's dry and not damp. So once I am done with that, I'm going to be setting this aside because we're going to be using that in a little bit. Okay, so now what I usually do is take my Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder, and I just pick up a little bit of that on the flat side of my sponge, and I just go ahead and set the areas that I concealed or highlighted. And then I also like to set my smile lines because those crease very easily, especially if you're a smiler. While that is baking, I usually take my contour. So I'm taking my Pro Contour palette by Ellen Tracy, and I'm going to be taking a tapered brush and mixing these two shades, the light contour and the bronzer. I don't like the dark contour just because it is a little too muddy for my skin tone personally, so I like the warmth of these two together. Alright, so I'm just going to be picking up both those shades and then running that along the side of my face. Once I am done with that, I'm going to be dusting away my powder. So I'm going to be using this Real Techniques powder brush. This is like the softest brush ever, and I'm pretty much just dusting away the baking powder. This is the last step to my flawless foundation routine. So as you all know, if you've watched my makeup tutorials, I use the Kali Bible highlight from the Kali Bible palette. So I'm taking these two shades in the middle and I'm going to be mixing those together to give me the perfect highlight shade. And this is the very last step, and I'm just going to be brushing this on the points that I want to highlight on my face. So I'm just taking this small tapered brush and I'm taking the lighter highlight out of the two that I mixed for the rest, and I'm just going to be doing my nose and Cupid's bow, and then I usually do the inner corner of my eyes just to brighten those up. Even though, you know, I'm not even wearing eyeshadow, it still looks really, really good. Alright guys, so this is it for my flawless foundation routine. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and please stick around for more videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram and follow me on Snapchat, and hope you have a wonderful day. Bye! I just landed in another atmosphere. I'm just floating in the same still